ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
This is your first look at sports. I'm Jonathan Benson. Following elections last Friday, the Bahamas Olympic Committee has quite a new look as they look to chart the way forward for sports in the country. President of the Low End Tennis Association, Deron Donaldson, became the youngest member in the committee's history to be elected as a vice president. And he talked a bit about the process, which led to a number of new faces being elected to the BOC's new executive board.
It was a lot of back and forward, going back and forward, and I guess it's politics at the end of the day because it comes down to voting for persons and federations. And I mean, it was iffy, but we're here, we're finished, and we're elected, and now it's time to get to work.
Now, B3A's first vice president, Iram Lewis, was also a new face elected to serve as a vice president on the new BOC board, and he can't wait to get to work.
I think it's a good thing in that we have a mix of old and young. I'm sure there are a lot of persons out there who are disappointed that they didn't get in. But I think we have a good mix. We have a very wide cross-section of individuals. You have architects, businessmen, persons on this committee. And I'm sure that with that cross-section, we'll all bring the Olympic Association to the level where it needs to go. And it speaks also to succession planning. And as the member from the IOC says, there are a lot of old heads around the table, but there are also a lot of young persons around the table. And me being one of those persons, I intend to make sure that I learn from those who've been there before and to help with the succession of the association.
Well, it's just under a week to go now before the start of the 60th National Family Island Regatta in Georgetown, Exuma. Registration takes place next Tuesday at 5 p.m. and from there, competition gets underway the following day with the cup races. Up first will be the C class, and one of the boats you're going to want to look out for this year is the Golden Girl out of Baratari.
This year, the yellow boat's definitely going to make some noise, especially the Golden Girl. We just did some work to her, and we're expecting her to be up in the top 5 this year.
Boy, when you go into Georgetown, you're talking about some 40 C-class boats. The bulk of the competition, who do you see standing in the way? Are you guys collecting the championship trophy?
Well, we have the VDK out of Long Island and Lady Yonis from Black Point. They are the 2 top boats out there, and Bull Ridge, of course.
I know this is the 60th anniversary. They're expecting a lot of sloops to be in Elizabeth Harbor this year, so it's expected to be one of the biggest probably in the 60-year history.
Can we find a zoom on this tie?
You may.
I couldn't resist.
If you could look, I don't know, somewhere there.
There's 2 planes too.
I have to comment, Johnny has a tie for every occasion, Gentino.
I've seen them, so yeah.
All right, still to come tonight, Eleuthera residents fighting to save prime property.
That story straight ahead in Family Island News.
This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. Last night, Waltia Roll made history as the first Bahamian ever to be drafted in the WNBA. She went with the 36th and final pick to the Minnesota Lynx, who lost in the WNBA Finals this past season to the Indiana Fever. The former center for the North Carolina Tar Heels became the 19th player in school history to be drafted. During the 2012-2013 season, Roll helped lead the Tar Heels to a 29-7 record, which included a trip to the ACC Championship game and a tournament. In the NCAA tournament, they were seeded 3rd. She averaged 12.1 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks as a senior, and she earned all ACC defensive honors for the 2nd time in her career. Now, Roll and the Lynx, they opened training camp on May 5th. They played their first preseason game May 18th against Washington. The regular season opens June 1st against Connecticut. Well, the Curtis International Basketball League tipping off its 2013 best of 3 first-round playoffs last night at Malcolm Park. In the opening game, Virgil Stars gave the undefeated pennant winners, the Banquet Ballers, all they could handle. Down the stretch, though, the Ballers found a way to hold off the Stars, winning 50-47 to take a 1-0 series lead.
Start off strong, but in the second half, we lack a little defense intensity, but we buckled down and we made some crucial stops.
We could have been better, We played a little lackadaisical on the boards, Our fast break wasn't there like how we regularly do, but other than that, we played pretty good.
I think we lost a little bit of focus on defense in the fourth quarter, but we came up with the victory. The first half of the game was very good for us. The second half, then we broke down. We stopped going to what was working for us, and that was the fault.
We just came into the league. We just came together. So we're gonna work out some kinks. We still know our potential, and we're working on all of that.
Now, last night's featured game also came down to the wire, with the Water Park Warriors holding off the Water Park Soldiers 56-55. Players continuing again tonight with Game 1 and the other 2 quarterfinal round series. Surveillance hooks up with Team Kane. The USD Titans, they take on the Cove. From college baseball, Kyle Hall making a name for himself as a member of the Dominican Chargers. Check out this play Hall made early this month in the outfield against the Nyack College. He took a home run off the board. Now Hall, he has played in 5 games so far this season. He's gone 2 for 7 at the plate with a .286 batting average. Well, time continuing to tick down to the 60th edition of the National Family Island Regatta. Festivities will get underway next week Tuesday and run through next Saturday. Danny Strawn has been the regatta's Commodore for a number of years now, and he spoke about what this Diamond Jubilee means to him.
I've had an opportunity to make a difference and to probably take the regatta to the next level. And I guess over the years, you've seen some improvement. Particularly this year, a lot of patrons coming down. We can have an improved site. We're doing a lot of work there. Ken, the local chairman, is in charge of that. And once you walk around the site, we can have a much better atmosphere.
Now, Strawn also talked about how fundraising went for this year's regatta.
Despite, the tough economic times, the government has come on board and supporting this event 100%. So I want to thank the government and all of the sponsors who are on board with us this year. And we're looking to have a great time here in Exuma.
So the government didn't slash their budget?
No, the government didn't slash their budget. The government realized that this is an important event. As a matter of fact, this is an officially 48-year independence event. And so the government realized that it's an event that we need to put on and make sure it happens again this year in Georgetown.
So seeing that this was the 40th year, you got some extra money?
Well, I didn't get any extra money. I think the government is on board with what they've done in the past, and so I'm grateful and thankful for that. And I think the government is going to support us in other areas, and we're going to have the town decorated, with Jack Thompson being the chairman of the celebration. So Jack is going to come down, and we can do a lot of things within the town itself. So from that standpoint, government is not only giving money in cash, but they're also giving goods in kinds in terms of flags and everything to decorate the town.
Well, in the late 1960s and early 1970s, junior sailing almost came to a standstill in the Bahamas, and it stayed that way for almost 20 years. However, in the mid-1990s, veteran sailor Clyde Roll decided to take it upon himself to reintroduce the sport to the next generation. And nearly 2 decades later, individuals like Stephen Knowles are taking the time out to thank Roll for helping them realize their true potential.
I was a little boy at the time, and my cousin was around 17. And he decided to sail one of the boats from Long Island. I didn't have a boat to sail. So Clyde came over to the fishing boat and said to me, well, why aren't you sailing? I said, Clyde, I don't have a boat to sail. He said, find a boat and come on the line. I ain't gonna leave you. So we sailed from 1995. I lost that year, and 3 years later, I won 3 consecutive years. And back in 1999, Clyde decided that he was gonna send the winning champion to Boston to get some more experience. And it happened so that year I didn't win. So Clyde came up to me and he said, you still have to go. I said, Clyde, but you said only the winner could go. He said, don't worry about that. You're going to go. You have to go. I said, well, next year I'm going to be doing BJCs. I can't take no time off. He said, you're going to go. You have to go.
And finally in the segment, sailing enthusiast Cassius Moss still looking for recognition after almost 4 decades. We get that story tonight from Julian Gibson.
Cassius Morse claims that he is the #2 man in the country when it comes to sloop sailing. Only Sir David Knowles is on top of him, and he says that he has all the history to prove it.
When Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II were here, the government organized a race in his honor. Sir David Knowles ran the race. The prince presented the cup to me on Prince George dock.
How did you feel when the prince, after winning the race, and the prince made this presentation to you? How you felt?
Well, I feel like a king because it was the greatest sailing event that ever took place in the Bahamas. Sir David Knowles win the Olympic Cup, the Olympic medal gold. They name him Sir. I win the first race of Prince Philip in the Bahamas. They should give me a CBE. I'm still waiting.
You talk about this event, sailing event. Some person might say, man,
That's old news. What have you done recently?
It's not such thing as old news. The Bahamas been here from 1492. You must have a beginning. Julian, I heard a lot of people talking, but the principle in life is, if you don't take a break will take you. And only a foolish man will not take a break. I take a break from sailing. 1975 to now, that's quite some time.
Now, many have questioned whether Morse can indeed pull off a regatta. Morse had this to say.
They are jealous of Cassius Morse. Simple as that. They are jealous of my accomplishment. The money for that race already in my hand. The man asked me not to call his name who give me the money, but to the end I'm going to call his name. One give me $700, the other give me $2. Now it's $300 and I put $1,000, so we got the money. Don't mind people, talking is cheap. Mr. Julian Gibson, it take money to buy the land.
Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I am Julian Gibson.
All right, thanks a lot, Julian. And that will do it for sports, but don't go anywhere. There's more to come after the break.
This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.